This is New Zealand, and this is Auckland, its biggest city, okay? But just 90 kilometers offshore, there's Aotea, or in English, Great Barrier Island, the largest and most seaward island in Auckland's Hauraki Gulf. A place that's completely off-grid, where people live with solar power, water tanks, no big supermarkets, no streetlights, and no traffic lights. So obviously, I had to go and check it out. So join me on this 5-day journey as I discover this Jurassic Park looking place. Welcome to my last New Zealand adventure. Welcome to Aotea. We had spent almost a year in New Zealand on a working holiday visa, and we were now just a week away from going back to Europe. And the guy who had been renting us a room, well, I don't want to call him a guy. His name is Niels, and he basically became one of our besties. His dad had bought a piece of land on Great Barrier Island and built a cabin there. It was still a work in progress, but already livable. So Niels told us we could visit and stay there. We bought a plane ticket for the next day. Although you can also go by fair, it just takes 4.5 hours compared to the 30 minutes by plane. The next day, we headed to the airport on our own, and Niels would join us 2 days later. The airport we were heading to was called North Shore Airport, where future New Zealand pilots practice before moving on to Airbuses, and where small flights like this one take off. After checking in, we waited in the small waiting room until eventually you get called out. For this flight, it was us and one more person. Everything was so informal. We asked our pilot to take a pic for us. He then asked me to lock the door?
All I need you to do, nice and easy, is just push this one in, make it click, then give me a thumbs up. I'll double check it as well.
Alright,
okay,
perfect.
Thank you.
Hope it's closed well. And finally, he gave us a briefing directly from his seat.
Otherwise, sit back, relax, enjoy the flight, and we're close to the Great Barrier. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. That wasn't a plane. That was a goddamn old van with wings. But once we took off, we enjoyed some first-class views of Auckland and the Hauraki Gulf. When we started approaching Great Barrier, it generally felt like landing in Jurassic Park. I know Jurassic Park was shot in Costa Rica and Hawaii and stuff, but guys, it could have easily been shot here. Honestly, what is this place?
Yeah, lift inside too.
Pick up our checked-in luggage, which is a box of food and nothing else. And it was right there. No luggage belt. Waiting for us on the other side were Niels' dad, Lloyd, and Denzo, his dad's bestie from his university days. I read that most of the island doesn't have sort of power. Every house has its own
no power on the
font
island.
of, you know, like you have solar power, there's rainwater.
I have a spring, so I have all my own water. I only pay $1,200 a year rates, and the rest is, you know, and for that I get a bit of rubbish collection. But that's all I have to pay. So my power's free, my water's free.
Is it potable treated water, or you have to buy your own?
Just drink it, man.
Oh,
It
nice.
comes out of the ground. It's got a natural spring.
You guys still alive without the?
He's still alive.
Without the. We didn't waste a single second before starting the adventure, and we headed to a place called Whanga Para Para to hike to some waterfalls called Kauri Falls. To get to Kauri Falls, we followed a track that was once part of the old Kauri logging network. You're probably like, what the hell is a kauri? A kauri is one of New Zealand's ancient native trees. A lot of them were cut down in the past for timber, so the ones that remain are now really protected. So even this peaceful walk through the bush had a strange contrast. Nature slowly taking back a place that was once carved open for timber.
The baby carries? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Another one?
but they're kind
After a bit of hiking, we reached Kauri Falls. Welcome to Kauri Falls. And I'll be honest, it's not one of those massive dramatic waterfalls that makes you question your existence, but that's kind of what made it special though. It was quiet, hidden in the bush, with no crowds and no big viewpoint, just water, rocks, trees, and that feeling that it makes you slow down for a minute. We then headed to Lloyd's place, a cabin at the top of a hill with the most stunning, incredible, otherworldly views I've ever had from a place. I mean, look at all that broccoli. Speaking of broccoli, at night, Denso cooked us some of the fish they had caught in the morning before. And it turns out Denso is quite a natural when it comes to explaining his recipes.
So you just saute it gently, you don't over fry it too hard. And then, of course, the secret ingredient are the fresh herbs. Some basil, some oregano. Of course, from Denzel's garden.
There you go. I thought you were making it up, but you actually have them.
You can get anything you want at Denzel's restaurant.
I hoped I would get some of those famous Great Barrier skies full of stars with my GoPro, but instead it was a rainy night. Today, we're gonna fish, baby. Oh yeah! Denzo looked like the most stereotypical fisherman ever, so I honestly felt confident having him as my fishing mentor. Lloyd instead was gonna help Mica. Mica is my fiance. She gets weird if I say my fiance all the time, so just learn her name, okay? Guys, the last time I fished, I must have been 12. We were as excited as two little kids at an amusement park because we were getting a proper taste of life here on the barrier. We reached a spot where Lloyd and Denzo had caught some decent fish the day before. And a few seconds after Lloyd cast his line, something bit. The rod bent, the line went tight, and suddenly he was fighting his first fish of the day. Then it was Mica fighting for her first fish. Then I wanted to fly the drone, but Denzo made me fight my first fish. And slowly the day turned into a fishing party, where no matter if we caught the fish or not, we'd crack 100 jokes per minute. So we caught what? Eight snappers. Tonight is gonna be lamb, tomorrow maybe fish and chips. I honestly don't know why I didn't film anything else during the day. I don't even remember what we had for lunch. Oh yeah, the fish we caught, duh! But I did film our evening at this peculiar place at night. The one and only Irish pub on the island. With one particular fact that makes this pub different from any other in the world. What did you say it was? The only Irish pub in the world?
Solar power.
With solar power. And tonight there's a quiz night. And it's packed. Shockingly packed.
They're good, eh?
Yeah. See, nice and soft now. Yeah, easy. Doesn't break your teeth when you eat. Perfecto. Mi piace moltissimo.
Different cultures meeting each other.
Do you, Klaus?
I don't know what magazine this is going in, but I think we better have a look at it first.
I know what magazine it's going in. Gay Old Men.
A TV show.
Gay old men.
Yeah.
The secret of the Great Barrier Island. It's my next movie. That day, we headed to the ferry harbor to say hello to Niels and goodbye to my fishing mentor. Good old Denzo. And not long after, we took Lloyd to the airport. Then headed to a short track to Kaitoke Hot Springs, some naturally warm geothermal water. Perfect for this weather.
Nice?
But the landscape is like crazy to be surrounded by all of this.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it to be here, eh?
Wow. I'm gonna walk a little bit further, see if I can find some hotter water. You wanna know something that makes this day even more special, you know, to be here in this hot springs, is that it's raining. Not like a shower, just like a nice drizzle that adds up to the experience. Because if it was very warm outside, it wouldn't be the same, but look at this. A little beautiful waterfall, but no good temperature. Wow. I don't think the GoPro does it any justice to what it feels like to be here. We then came back to the hut, and with the rain, it felt so cozy, and I thought, how can we make this even cozier? By making rigatoni al ragu and some, or pasta bolognese for all you English-speaking Oh, I failed. Tomorrow, we do one of the most amazing hikes this island has to offer and visit one of its most beautiful beaches. So after a good carbo load, we went straight to sleep. I don't know if it tastes as good because I'm hungry or it's actually alright. Today, we were headed to the top of Mount Hobson, known in Maori as Hirakimata. The track that goes there is called Palmer's Track. With our lunches waiting in the car, big mistake by the way because I was starving the whole way, we started the hike at Windy Canyon, which is probably one of the most dramatic beginnings to a walk I've ever done. You climb through these narrow rock walls with views opening up over the beaches, forests, and wetlands of Great Barrier Island. From there, we followed Palmer's Track towards Mount Hobson, the highest point on the island. What starts as a short scenic walk slowly turns into a proper climb with stairs, ridge lines, native forest, and eventually the feeling that you're standing on the roof of the whole island. Gorgeous. On the way back home, we stopped at Awana Beach. Awana Beach was one of those places that looked calm from a distance, but felt wild as soon as you got close. I don't know if the drone will capture it, but the waves are absolutely huge. I'm just gonna go for a quick dip. You see many wild beaches on New Zealand that you feel like nobody's ever stepped foot before, but this is at the top of it. My last weekend in New Zealand, but what a weekend. It's one of Great Barrier Island's popular surf beaches, sitting on the east coast of the island, with white sand, strong waves, and an estuary that's also home to rare birds like pateke and New Zealand dotterel, which I couldn't film, but I thought it was cool to let you know. It was also going to be my last dip in the Pacific Ocean for a while. So it wasn't just another beach stop. It felt like one of those places where the island reminds you that nature is beautiful, but also very much in charge. We finished that day back at the Irish pub. We had some pizza for dinner, which was not bad given it was made at an Irish pub on a Kiwi island, and played some Monopoly Deal, a game that got me completely addicted. That night, I managed to record a little bit of the beautiful stars that this light pollution-free island offers. It was our last day, and we had until 4 p.m. before our flight. We decided to pack the remaining fish in the morning and head out for some sightseeing before taking off. Niels took us to Medlands Beach, where locals can enjoy plenty of waves for themselves without having to compete with crowds.
What a pair we would make. What a pair we would make. where we fly, we drive, we walk or we cruise.
Our time on the island was almost over, and as we waited for our tiny little toy plane to take us back to Auckland, I couldn't help but reflect on my time in New Zealand. After a year here, this trip to Great Barrier Island ended up feeling like one of those perfect ways to say goodbye, because there are a few things about this country that I know I'll deeply miss. The way people here seem to have such a strong connection and respect for nature. The way so many New Zealanders spend their time and energy and money on things that take them outside. But maybe the thing I'll miss the most is the slower pace of life. Of course, people work hard here. Life isn't magically easy just because the landscapes are beautiful. But somehow, life doesn't always feel like something that has to be squeezed in after everything else. And I think that slower pace gave me something I didn't realize I needed. Space. No, not that space. Space to question what I actually wanted. And space to finally start my YouTube channel after years of only talking about it. I came to New Zealand thinking I was just gonna live somewhere different for a while. But I'm leaving with something much more valuable than photos, videos, or memories. I'm leaving with the reminder that sometimes you need to slow down enough to hear yourself properly. And maybe that's the real souvenir I'll take with me into whatever comes next. See you in the next adventure.